Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Digital Experience Team's retro meeting. We'll go over what went well and things to improve on that we learned from the last 2-week iteration. First up for things that went well, Tyler is the first one.
I think we're all feeling it. I think this is the perception from outside as well. I think we just did an excellent job with a disrupted iteration with a non-standard schedule. Just lots of, yeah, I think everyone should feel really good about the work that they did. I know I am. And like we had our green, yellow, red check-ins and like everyone's feeling green. And like, this is not the way to work every single iteration for all of your working life, but if it feels good to like rise to a challenge. So I don't know. I think that really went really well. And I like, it was so fast. I think one of the things too is like it moves so fast that like I don't even remember what happened when. I was like, oh, I did that last week. Jeez. So like I also don't I think the other thing is like I don't have a very critical reflections either on the last 2 weeks because like I like didn't have time to critically reflect on things, which is part of why you probably can't do that every single time. But it's nice to get a lot of stuff. It's nice to get a high volume of like high quality stuff out the door, and I think that's precisely what we did. So congrats to everyone for doing it.
I'll hop in next. I think the migration to custom reference pages went well. There's a good workflow between UX and engineering. I shifted tactics with this. I'm usually advocate for minimal viable MVC and like 1 MR per migration. And I threw that out the door for this one. I was like, there's too many. We can't do that. And I batched them about 10 together in 1 MR. And that seemed to work well for iterating on the template. Like as we saw a group of them come over, we're like, oh, we need to adjust this. We need to do that. And that seemed to work.
I guess I'm up next. Yeah, so I've noticed a bunch of MRs this last iteration where we've been putting more data into YAML files. And I think it's a huge plus because if we migrate the page over, we just have to build the page without any data and it just works. So let's keep doing that. And then who knows later down the road with like internationalization and stuff, everything will be in the data files. So let's just keep doing that. Yeah, I guess we're going on to things to improve on. Barker, do you want to kick it off?
Wow. I feel like I'm moving too fast, and that's when I make mistakes. So yeah, but we had to move really fast. So I don't know.
I agree. I think, not like highest volume of work, but a lot of that volume was like reworking things that got out the door that were not like ready to be out the door. So I think, but I also think that like probably the crossroads we're sitting at in this moment is that that's to be expected and like not because necessarily like our team was like, okay, like let's shift our mode to working fast and that's like what we should be doing. It's just like what we have to. So I think, this is a good moment for people who are watching outside this team or like other people we collaborate with for like us just to like make note of it, that like we are like indexing on speed and not necessarily on perfection. It's not low quality. It's not like lower quality, but it is like fewer checks. Like I released a ton of MRs this time around without like code review because I was like, look, like if someone told me like change this code, I'd be like, no. I'd be like, I'm not gonna because it's gonna take too long. And so I did a lot of just like design review. I was like, okay, like someone look at this and like did this like meet the list, cool, it's going out the door. So anyways, I think this is just, if you're watching out there, like next like little while, I think this will be our team's operating mode, and it's worth it if there's something that like needs to have all the I's dotted and T's crossed before it like gets shipped. I think we should like be explicit about it and be like, this is a thing that shouldn't move fast at the expense of like thoroughness, right? Because I think our default mode for a little while is going to be fast rather than thorough. So yeah, I'm with you, but I'm cool about doing it, and it seems like from what I've seen, like feedback and responses and like people like talking to us, like everyone else is in that same place and everyone is like accommodating, and it's like, make sure you don't mess up the big stuff and don't sweat the little things and just keep on moving through, right?
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, like, it's okay for us to make mistakes. And then one of our core values is iteration. And that's so we can like put out a little change and keep working on it and fixing things. And if we make a mistake, like, who cares? Just fix it later. Like, it's all good. Low level of shame and all that good stuff.
I guess I'll vocalize. I just added a note that, you know, I finally remember clean up over sign off. Thank you, Barker. You always say that all the time. So I just want to remind you that we value that. But then I added a sub note because I realized that often we can't go back and iterate. So that is something to improve on. We are moving fast and sometimes we can't look back. So something to take into consideration.
I'm reading as I'm talking, but I think the pricing page is a really good example of what we can do, or like what we can accomplish when we actually do go back and iterate on something and really spend some time with it. It's gone, like, it's made a lot of improvements in the last 8 months or so. It'd be really cool if we could do that with other pages. Any closing thoughts before we sign off? Okay. Okay, cool. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time.